कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स में सर एक फैक्टर यूफेमिज्म का होता है कि सर हम बात तो कर लेते हैं, कम्युनिकेट तो कर लेते हैं, लेकिन दूसरे को बताना, जैसे कि अगर मैं कहूँ कि मे आई कम इन सर, या मैं ये कहूँ कि वुड यू प्लीज अलाउ मी टू स्टेप इन सर, तो बोलने का अंदाज थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट हो जाए तो सर वो कम्युनिकेशन पे इम्पैक्ट डालता है कि आप दूसरे को रिस्पेक्ट कितनी दे रहे हैं। तो इस चीज का फैक्टर आता है कम्युनिकेशन में सर। जैसे बयान मौलाना तारिक जमील भी करते हैं और बाकी भी करते हैं, लेकिन जो एक यूफेमिज्म का फैक्टर होता है तो वो आपकी बात को एक सिंगल स्ट्राइक में दूसरे बंदे को गेट टू यस पे कर देता है।
All right, so you have come up with a very different word, euphemism. Uh, I think so. Euphemism, you want to say empathize करना, ठीक है? To be courteous when you speak with somebody. For example, you give them respect, you sympathize with them, you empathize with them, you give them respect. For example, when you talk to your boss or your teacher, so your manner of speaking would be different. But when you are speaking with your friend, so your manner of speaking would be different. So we when we consider other person, when we communicate, or we become more courteous, when we talk we give them respect, so that is empathizing with them, okay? We feel for them and we talk in a very respectable manner, all right, in a respected way. Yes, 640, you want to say something? Unmute yourself.
Aslam, sir.
Walaikum salam.
Sir, according to culture situation of the person we are communicating,
All right.
in which way he is talking, sir, different language, uh, according to he is talking in English, Urdu, and some other language. We also try to communicate in that way to explain our point of view.
Okay, that's very good. That's very good. Yes, we call it a context. All right. When we want to communicate with the other person, we need to understand the context or background of that person. What kind of background does he have, or what is his qualification? What does language he speak? All right, or what kind of job he does. All right. So we need to understand all these factors if we want to communicate effectively. We will talk about this later in the second week when we talk about components of communication and especially the context of the reader, of the speaker and listener. Then we will discuss these points inshallah in detail. So yes, we need to understand the context of our listener or the person who is going to receive our message. For example, we cannot talk to our parents, all right, as we talk to our friends because they have different context, all right. So we respect our parents. We cannot joke about them, all right. We cannot, you can say, we cannot say anything. You can say uh, any bad thing, okay? We cannot share anything that is immoral with them, but with friends we can talk almost everything. So we need to understand the context. So context makes us and make our communication effective. When we communicate, when we consider, when we keep context of a person or the listener or the speaker in our mind, that who is going to receive my information and what kind of person he is, all right, so that impact our communication. So that's important idea, context or cultural context as well, all right. For example, if you're talking to a Christian fellow or a Gora fellow, you won't say Assalamu alaikum. All right, but it's our habit whenever we talk, we start with Assalamu alaikum. All right, so when the culture is different, when the you can say person is different, he's coming from all together a different context. So we will not say okay, Assalamu alaikum. All right, or Khuda Hafiz. So we will modify our conversation and we would say hello and then we say goodbye, all right. So we adapt or modify our conversation according to the context of that person. So you are true, you are right in your observation that We need to understand the context or background of that person in order to make our communication effective. Any other your observation you want to say about importance of communication? Why we need to study communication skill? Uh, so Muzammil Khan, you want to say something?
यस सर, मैं असल में कहना चाहता कि कम्युनिकेशन स्किल इस लिहाज से भी काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट होती हैं, सीखना और इनको इन्हेंस करना साथ-साथ, क्योंकि ये फिर इंसान को उस ज़िल्लत से, शायद मैं अगर वर्ड सही यूज़ करूँ, बचा लेती हैं कि वो बाद में कहे कि मैंने कहना कुछ और था, वो कुछ समझा और मुझे कुछ और कहना था। तो वो उस बात को जो है ना फिर कंपनसेट करने के लिए हमें इन स्किल्स पे काबू करना और इनको साथ-साथ अपडेट करना बहुत ज़रूरी होता है।
Yes, very good. Interestingly, जब हम हमारे when we talk about our personal relationship, so these kind of things happen with our personal relationship that we want to say something and the other person you can understand otherwise or understand something else. All right. So then there is a misconception, and our relationship are devoured or spoiled by these misconception or miscommunication. So. Uh, we need to understand and then we need to communicate in a way that other person understand exactly what you want to say. All right, that's the zenith or success of your communication, that other person understand whatever you want to convey. Whatever you want to convey the other person has understood, then you have mastered your communication. You are master communicator if you are able to convey whatever you want to convey to your readers and they understand the way you want to understand them. All right, so that is the you can say epitome or the success or height of success of your communication. If you are successful in that you communicate and you make them understand whatever you want to make your point. So that is the end of the communication. All right, that is the you can say success of your communication. You are a very good or efficient or proficient communicator if you can do that. So very good point. Any other point जो कोई और बंदा शेयर करना चाहे? इतने सारे लोग हैं and आप you are just you were so silent. Roll number 633 G. Would you like to share something about why do we need to study communication skills? Roll number 633. Please unmute your.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I think there's a background noise. So let me ask Hamza Chaudhary. What do you think? No. All right. So let's continue the lecture. Okay. So these are some of the aspects that uh, make us realize the importance of communication skills, that it's inevitable. As I have said earlier, no communication, no organization, no success. So your success is directly related to your communication, or even directly proportional to your success. All right, more you communicate, there are more chances for you to get your success. And
एक्सक्यूज मी सर, स्क्रीन नहीं शेयर हो रही।
मैं भी स्क्रीन शेयर कर नहीं रहा, मैं अब जस्ट ऐसे ही आपसे कह रहा हूँ, ठीक है?
जी सर।
All right, so let me share the screen for the next few slides I'm going to read. And all right, so going towards next slide. Okay, so another important point of communication skill is that you get your valuable job, and it's a valuable job requirement. As I have told you earlier, that every recruitment agency makes sure that they hire a person who is fluent, who is good or master communicator. So they make sure that they they hire a person who has excellent communication skills. All right, so it's a valuable job. It's a must skill for your job. All right, and the next come is the first and foremost skill to get a job, from writing a CV to apply for a job. For example, the first step for you to for towards your job is, first of all, you write a CV. All right, so in that CV you communicate your personality, your grades, your qualification, your objectives, and you tell them by writing that you are perfect match for this job. You qualify the criteria for the given job, so they should consider you for the job. So then comes the stage of interview, and in interview, as I have told you earlier, that communication skill is the first thing they measure in you when they hire you, when they interview you. All right. So the first thing uh, they judge or they measure or they're looking in you, that is in your communication skill. All right. And then if you want to promote in an organization, then they also find out a people's person, a person who is very sociable, or who communicates with his colleagues or with supervisors and is very active person in the organization. They would like to promote that person rather than a person who is so silent, he doesn't communicate, he doesn't like to communicate with other people or his subordinates or with boss. Or so that person, there's a highly that there is it is unlikely, highly unlikely that that person would get a promotion if a person doesn't speak anything. So when they promote a person in an organization, they look and they find a suitable candidate who is excellent in communication skills. So if you want to get a job, or if you want to get a promotion in living or having that job in that organization, so you need communication skills. Okay, communication costs time and money. For example, if you are communicating, okay, and if you are communicating well, it's good. All right, you are saving your time. But for example, if you are communicating with a person and he doesn't understand your point of view because of your lack of communication, because of your miscommunication, what will happen? He will ask you again, what are you saying? I don't understand. Could you tell me again what you are talking and what is your exact point of view? I couldn't understand. So when you tell or when you communicate again, it will cost you time. All right. So if communication costs time and money, for example, uh, when you communicate, you get your pay. For example, uh, your 30% salary is come from communication. Wherever you do a job, it doesn't matter whatever organization you are in, your 30% salary comes with your speaking. All right, your communication you get. For example, you are earning 90,000 rupees and you work in an organization, so 30% salary you are obtaining from the organization is because of your communication. All right, and if you are not good communicator, if you're not communicating effectively, so that will going to cost you money. All right, so effective communication leads to success of the company as well as the employee. For example, if your organization is getting business, so you will get your pay raise. All right, so you will get a pay raise. All right, you will also get successful if your communication, or sorry, if your company is getting success because of effective communication. All right, and if your communication, if your uh, company or organization is suffering from lack of communication, then you will have to suffer as well. All right, so as I have told you earlier, your 30% salary comes from your communication, and there's another research that 29 to 50% time is spent on communication. For example, if you work uh, 8 hours a day in an organization, so you spend 50% of your time, 30 to 50% of your time. For example, 3 to 4 hours you spent on just communication. All right. So this is that important. For example, if you are communicating 4 hours a day, 4 hours, um, uh, 4 hours in total, 8 hours. So you are communicating a lot. All right. And just imagine if you are if you're talking 4 hours and you are communicating nothing, what will happen at the end of the day? So whatever you communicate, if that doesn't mean anything, if you are not communicating anything, if your communication is not effective, 4 hours you are spending on your communication and you're communicating rubbish. So what will be the end result of it? So you are going to suffer, you are going to lose your job, and your company is also going to suffer because of your lack of communication. And what if you are uh, having a, you can say, a leadership role? You are running an organization, you are a leader, you are a manager, and you don't know how to communicate. It means, yeah, the whole department is going to suffer. All right, the whole organization is going to collapse. And essential for promotion, as I have told you earlier in the previous slide, that if you want to get promotion from your boss or from your organization, you need to have an excellent communication skill. All right. Many rate it as one of the most important aspects of business leadership. If you want to business leadership, you need to constantly communicate with your clients. And if you don't know how to communicate effectively with your clients, you don't get business deals, and you are not going to get any business at all. All right. So communication, again, effective communication is essential for your growth, for your promotion, for getting a job. Okay, just look at this diagram and take 2 or 3 minutes, then we will discuss about it. Just look at this diagram, this image, and then tell me what do you learn out of this. And meanwhile, let me see who is outside the door. All right, so requisite for a promotable executive. For example, here in this diagram, uh, there's a you can say mountain, a slope, and this is the lower place and this is the highest place. Okay, so if you want to get promotion, if you want to get any job, so these are the things you may need in order to go, or in order to have upward mobility. If you want to move forward, you need these things. All right, these things, these parameters somehow affect your job, your promotion. All right. So, uh, yes, Hamza, unmute yourself.
Sir, I have a question aside from this topic.
Okay, can you ask me later? You can ask me later. Let me finish the topic. We are running out of time, so ask me later. Okay, thank you.
Okay, sir. Okay.
All right. So, for example, capacity for hard work. You are very hardworking professional. So, and you know how to work with people, and you know how to things done with and through people. You have good appearance. You have very good personality. You have self confidence. You know how to decide, how to make decisions. You have decision making power. You have qualified from Oxford or Cambridge or UET. You have excellent college education. You are very ambitious person. You are self motivated. You have uh, self driven. And then the last stage is ability to communicate. So uh, you are hard worker. You have good appearance. You have confidence. You have decision making skills. But at the top, ability to communicate. If you have all these things, you have college education, you have very beautiful personality, all right, you're a very hardworking person, but if you cannot communicate your hard work, if you cannot communicate your college education, so what is the worth of these things? You have beautiful face, you're a very beautiful person, but you cannot communicate well. So what's the benefit of having good appearance? All right. So all these aspects are important, but the most important aspect you need to, if you want to get a promotion or job, that is ability to communicate. So that's the ability that the recruiter or the recruitment agency is looking in you when they interview you. That is your ability to communicate. Everybody, for example, there are 10 people and they all have some certain ambition, college education, they have self-confidence, they are very suited booted, they look very beautiful, all right, and they have relevant experience to work with organization, all right, but uh, the deciding factor is communication. They filter people according to the communication skills. For example, if a person is let's say he has all these skills, all these parameters, but he lacks in communication. He doesn't know how to tell about you can say his introduction, how to explain college education, ठीक है, how decision is made. He knows how to make a decision, but he cannot express and he cannot tell anyone how to make a decision. So what's the benefit? What's the benefit of having that skill if you cannot you can say translate that skill in your communication, in your words? So that's why your ability to communicate is at highest pedestal, it's at peak, all right. So you have all these things, but if you don't have ability to communicate, then you are going to suffer. I mean, suffer means that I'm just telling you that you need to uh, polish your communication skill. That is inevitable, all right. That is indispensable. There is no, इससे राह फरार कोई नहीं है, ठीक है. So and for that you need to practice, you need to polish your skill. No pain, no gain. If you don't put efforts in your communication skill, you won't master communication skills, all right, and you won't be a good uh, you can say a promotable executive or promotable person in any organization if you lack communication. So for that we need to work on our communication skill. We need to practice it. We understand the principles of communication, and we study it thoroughly in order to uh, present or in order to communicate in a very presentable way. Okay, so thank you so much. That's all about the introduction of communication skill. So far, we have studied definition of communication, all right, and then we talk about why do we need, what is information, why do we need to study communication skill as a subject, as a course um in your undergrad studies, all right. And so these are some of the points we have discussed so far. So now if you have any question, you can ask me.